Richie Sadlier came out very strongly, in my opinion. We've got his quotes up on the screen. For anyone that's not watching it, monumental bollocks. You'd rather never qualify. I'm sure the point he's making is, I would like players fully committed to playing for Ireland, and that should be the base level. But allowing yourself a couple of weeks to think about it, to listen to all arguments, just maybe out of respect to hear Gareth Southgate, listen to your agent, listen to other family members, listen to whatever voices are in this conversation, listen to them all. At the end of it, come back. You know what? I'm going to stick to the thing that I always thought was the case. Now I know there's no sense in my head that I have rushed this or panicked because I listened to everyone. I've seen the whole board and I know all my moves, and in every scenario this was the decision that made sense to me, so I'm going to make it. Give me the Irish jersey, call me up. Are you saying we don't want that outcome now because we had that little bit of space? Surely not. So we were together when we seen that too.
Yeah, you actually sent to me, didn't you? I mean, I hadn't seen it. First time I've read that, actually. I think it's a little bit disrespectful to me personally when that's the headline that comes out, monumental bollocks. Personally, I wouldn't want an Irish team qualifying for a major tournament if we had players that weren't committed. I stand by it. That's how I was brought up. You know, I was brought up in a different time over in England when it was very different for Irish people growing up in England. You stuck together, basically. It has been said to me in the past, and again, I'm not saying I'm more Irish than you or anybody else, but I think over in England it was very different. It was,
especially in that time. Let's not forget.
It was. It was
70s, early 80s, obviously before.
Yeah. Exactly. When my parents, particularly my dad went over with no education, working on the roads, and a lot of the lads working on the roads, tunnelling, digging roads, all these sort of things, the jobs that they would have had, they were targeted. They were targeted for abuse, and that was what made them stick together a hell of a lot more. I was brought up with that, and you know that was the message that was being relayed to me when I was going to. If I was going to the pub with my uncles, my dads, and all this sort of thing, meeting them, you were hearing little stories, little snippets, and it did cement a degree of maybe patriotism that I don't know that maybe a lot of lads can't comprehend or can't take on board. You know, that's what, you know.
I don't know many people. I said this, you know, I don't know many people that are better qualified to have an opinion on this. Yeah,
and that's the thing, and there's maybe a number of factors. Yeah, I think. Personally, I'd rather listen to someone like Gary Breen talking about it, maybe as you had a David Conley, Alan Kelly, whoever it would be, lads who have actually been brought up in an environment that was maybe, I'm not saying anti-Irish, but certainly pro going to play, our environment, certainly coming through a system of professional football, were pushed towards a certain way. I've known lads and I've spoken to lads who have actually played for England who said they would have preferred to play for us. That have got senior international caps that would have preferred to play for us because they felt as though they had more of an allegiance to Ireland, but they were pushed in a certain way at youth level.
And is this going back even?
This is going back 20 30 years, yeah. 20 years when I first.
So even then it was happening.
Well, 20. I'm not that old. It's not 30. 20.
Imagine now. The pressure and the power that the agents have now.
You even see players. David Gold at West Ham. He knows full well, marketing-wise, he's worth a hell of a lot more to West Ham. It's worth a lot more to Declan himself. Yeah. So that we're looking at all these sort of things. All I'm saying is with this is, and I you know, Richie, I like listening to Richie. I think he's obviously a well-educated boy, but I think to come out with that statement straight away, I personally think it's disrespectful to me, and as a fellow pro as well. I'd personally think that. That's what I think. I would never. If I disagree with something that Richie said, I wouldn't necessarily come out with that statement to start with. I'd just say, look, I'm not having it, whatever it would be, and I'd try and make my arguments around it. I would rather not. And maybe it's an exaggeration, maybe not. I wasn't certainly looking to try and get a few likes on a tweet that I put out.
Oh, I know, and I know you well enough that it was passion straight away.
I lost my head a little bit when I
believe
when I read
here
it was
we
put
are.
out.
What did you do that on Monday? Here we are on Thursday, we're 3-4 days on, and you're still feeling the exact same. It's not as if it was an impulsive reaction.
I'd rather we didn't qualify for another tournament if we had lads that were feeling like that. But another thing, Keith, and the thing that's something that's not really been talked about a lot. You know, for every time that I've been part of an international squad. You have had a similar sort of discussions with me. I've had discussions with other lads as well as a group when we've been within the squad. We've had lads humming and ahhing. I might go and play for Ireland if something's not going to go right for England. I've had it. We've had it. We knew we've had that conversation when we were part of the Irish setup, and I know for a fact what you think about it, and I know what a majority of the other lads, not necessarily all, I'm not saying that, but a majority of the other lads would not have it, would not welcome him back. They're saying, on you go then, thanks very much, we don't want you. We do not. I didn't want a Jamie O'Hara. I didn't want a Jamie O'Hara.
Mark Noble.
I didn't want these lads saying, more so Jamie O'Hara. He was the one, because he was actually coming out saying, look, if I can't get in the squad for a certain tournament, I might declare for Ireland third line. On your bike, mate. Get out of here. Get out of town. I don't want that.
But then, okay, then what about and I've already mentioned, I do think you're in the minority, and you've mentioned Gary Breen, you've mentioned David Connolly. I do think you're in the minority. And a lot of
I do. I
players,
take that.
right?
And I do take people's opinion. I do. I understand fully.
So when you say...
I'm fully aware that I'm stronger on this than probably most. I understand that.
And then when you say then you're okay as long as players are committed. So we would have always said, and you would have been involved in the Ireland teams for a lot longer than I was, but we would quickly recognise who was committed, who was doing it just to get their career along. So, and I'm picking a name out here, someone like Liam Lawrence, for instance, right?
Yeah, I heard you talking to him last week on your show last week. Yeah,
so he's been on. I think he was a very popular member of the squad, came in, settled very, very well. Irish roots, have to be honest, don't know.
Yeah. Don't
know what his Irish roots were, but I would say that when he came in, as soon as you suss him out as a fella, his work ethic, the way he's going about things, does he fit into the group? I didn't have a problem with that. Where would you stand on someone like that? And again, I don't mean to just pick Liam as a example, but the principle.
I understand what you're saying, and I know where you may be coming from. Yeah, he came in, played very well for us, played in some big games for us.
You're saying ideal world, not for you?
No, he's not for me. Sorry, but he's not, and that is the truth. That's how I feel about it. And it is, you know, even the tweet that I put out, I've had so much stick from different fans. You're English, you're born in Preston. Who are you? Whatever it will be, and all these sort of things that have come back your way. Lads that saying, look, if you're born in a certain country, you should play for that country. And you know, there's arguments of there's so many. You can't take someone's dream away from them. If you want to play for a certain country and you feel that you are a national of that country, then no one should ever take that away from you. Yes, born in England, fine, take that on board, no problems at all. But all I wanted to do was play for Ireland, so no one can take that away from me. So I'm not having that argument at all. It's you are who you are. You are what you are. That's what I would feel. But lads who you know, we've got a policy maybe with the FEI where we're going in the underage structures, and you've been part of the underage structure, you're getting lads, and there's always like, oh, this lad can qualify for us, it's great, you know, his granny's from Tipperary, his granny's from wherever, you know, great. Personally, I think we've got more of a responsibility to be developing our own, rather than pinning our hopes on players over the water that might not necessarily be committed further down the line.
How do you know at the age of, you said I've been involved, how do you really know? I know if they're fully committed.
I'm not saying that policy is wrong. I'm not saying the policy is wrong, because you understand that we got Ed McGeady on board at 15, 16. He got a senior international cap very early, and he probably wasn't ready to. But we got him capped, and he was showing so much ability when he was such a young lad. We had to get him capped because he would have been called up for Scotland, and we knew that. But I just think that if that policy is flawed. Because you're going to, you could get your fingers... How do you get
around that, though?
You're going to get your fingers burnt further down the line.
Because with Rice as a prime example, all the way along, absolutely devoted to the underage teams, never missed it, attitude impeccable, a real desire, singing the national anthem. How can you foresee
that's a rarity. This case, particularly with the commitment that he's shown and everything that he's spoken about.
By the way, Grealish, when you speak to a lot of the staff at the FAI as well, was the exact same. And again, the one thing that I would suggest they have in common, very, very different personalities, but the one thing I would suggest they have in common is they shot to prominence in the Premier League, and then things changed.
Yeah,